Last but not least, and we're going to provoke you with some of these millennial statistics. I'm really excited to hear what you have to say. So Dan is the founder of workplacetrends.com, a research and advisory membership service for forward-thinking HR professionals. So he is converting the other side of the equation. Thank you, Dan, for all of your activism on our behalf, as well as the managing partner of Millennial Branding, a Gen Y research and consulting firm. He is the no big deal New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestselling author of Promote Yourself, The New Rules for Career Success, and the #1 international best-selling book, got the title right here, Me 2.0, 4 Steps to Building Your Future, which combined have been translated into 15 languages. Don't worry, he'll only speak English tonight. We've asked him to curb his Arabic and other languages. Dan is a columnist at both Time and Forbes and has been featured in over 1,000 media outlets. Is there really a secret to success? If not, what 2 things have played a pivotal role in your success and growth?
I would say forcing yourself into uncomfortable situations because you never know who you're going to meet, what projects will eventually lead to other companies or other opportunities for you. And I would say the second thing is forming a support group throughout your career of different people, especially people like you and who have similar aspirations.
Was there ever a time when you wanted to quit? And if so, why didn't you?
I got a good one here. So for my
Thanks, Dan, for starting us off.
for my book journey, so 7.5 years I spent for my first book, rejected by 70 out of 70 agents, two publishers, and I basically got it on my own. And then the second book was 3.5 years, fired 2 agents, hired 4 consultants, 3 book proposals, barely got it. And what got me through the whole thing was the idea that for the first book, that even though I put all that hard work in and got all that rejection and criticism, I was still able to do it. And so once you have that first realization where if you work really hard and you actually accomplish that, that will translate into the idea of for future projects and future companies and things that you do, you'll be able to also overcome that obstacle. So do whatever you can to achieve that first milestone because psychologically it'll build confidence for the future.
How do you refute or challenge the myths that surround millennials?
I've done a lot of research on this one.
Love it. Come on, Dan.
I'm big on order. So I've done 2 studies in the past few years, and what we found is every generation has a negative view of the upcoming generation. So boomers and Gen Xers have a negative view of millennials, the me generation, a lot of what Caroline said. But we, millennials, have a negative view of the upcoming generation who actually enters the workforce next May, Generation Z. So we think they're lazy and entitled and all of this. So I think that every generation has this negative view, but on the reverse side, every generation has a positive view of their elders because we are looking to get as much knowledge as possible from them, and we see them as mentors.
Ask now is, what advice would you guys give a 30-something-year-old who is on one path but is considering following a passion to pivot and become an entrepreneur? Lots of entrepreneurs in our community.
Do they currently have a full-time job?
I'm going to assume that they do.
Okay, so do the full-time job to the best of your abilities, and then outside of work, start to gain the skills. Linda, I mean, there's a million Skillshare. Start to gain the skills and build the network around what you want to transition to. This could be these free classes, low-cost classes. It could be the networking, going to meetups and groups and these type of events. But start to create those conversations. Start to get that skill set so that you can make a move. And it doesn't have to be this giant leap, like I'm just going to randomly quit my job and start a company. For me, it was 3.5 years, sacrificed nights and weekends, 100 to 120 hours a week. I used to call my apartment the cave. I would only go out to go to my full-time job and back. And because of that, I'm able to do everything today. So there's some hard work and sacrifice early on to enable you to create these opportunities. But you don't have to just randomly, drop out of Harvard or do things that you see in movies or Zuckerberg or everyone else. You want to basically create your own path, and you could do that in a way that's less risky by holding on to your full-time job while you spend the time outside of work to build what you want.
Okay, you're all very accomplished now, fact. But how do you stay as hungry and competitive as when you first started? What keeps you motivated, and what keeps you hustling? Great question.
Okay, I think I need to take it. So my mission, and after just doing a lot of different projects, my mission is to help millennials from student to CEO. So with that big goal, I think about all the projects, all the people I have to meet, all the things I need to do in order to accomplish that. And so in order to hit that, things are going to keep getting harder. It's actually not easier. And the thing that was brought up earlier is really, really important. So you might see a successful person, I don't know, even at the Bill Gates level, and he still has challenges. So don't think that it's going to get easier after 20 years, right? It's always going to get harder, especially if you're ambitious, because you'll keep pushing yourself further.
But how in those moments when there is so much backlash against something that should be, I believe, a very simple principle of our society, how do you stand firm in this belief and keep going?
Don't always listen to the media, because think about the New York Times. So the most shared articles in the New York Times are the ones that make people the most angry. And so the media makes money based on making people angry, in a sense. So instead of looking at that, think about the positive. So just one of the studies I've done is on the gender pay gap, and actually our generation is starting to close it more and more every year. So instead of looking at the negative, I would start to kind of do more research and look at more of the positive attributes, and then look at some of the role models you have here, and let that inspire you.
I would love to know who each of your, that one mentor, female mentor, male mentor, whoever, just a mentor in your life that's helped you propel forward, helped you chase those dreams that you're working now.
My early mentor is my grandfather and my father, and my mom. She'd kill me if I didn't say that. She said they pushed me into the workforce so early, first internship in high school, first job when I was 13, just really, really learning as much as I can. And then I would say from a true professional standpoint, it's Tom Peters, and I recommend people read The Brand Called You, which was published in 1997 on the cover of Fast Company magazine. Is the reason why the magazine actually took off back then. And I read that article, and I was a different person after that article. So.